All right, strap in, everyone, because today we're diving headfirst into a place that's practically synonymous with mystery and conspiracy theories. Area 51.
Oh yeah, Area 51. It's like the holy grail of the unknown, isn't it? Everyone's heard the rumors, seen the memes.
Exactly. And let's be honest, we all have those images in our heads, right? Aliens, UFOs, secret government experiments.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we're not just diving into the deep end of speculation here. You sent over some pretty solid sources for this deep dive.
Right. We've got those excerpts from the Wikipedia article, that piece from space.com.
And even what looks like a draft script for a documentary. So we're not just dealing with hearsay and internet rumors. There's actual material to work with here.
Okay, so then where do we even begin? I mean, how do you separate fact from theory when it comes to a place like Area 51?
Well, I think the best place to start is by acknowledging the elephant in the room. Or maybe I should say the alien in the room. We got to address those alien theories head on.
Right. Like, let's get that out of the way first. What's the official story?
Okay, so officially, it's called Homey Airport, or Groom Lake. It's a highly classified U.S. Air Force facility, part of the Nevada Test and Training Range. And while the alien stuff is definitely what grabs the headlines,
Sure.
Area 51's primary function is, and always has been, the testing of experimental aircraft and weapons systems.
Okay, so we're talking cutting-edge aviation, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the air. Makes sense. But, I mean, it's not like they built this super-secret base in the middle of a city, right?
No, the location itself is part of the mystery. We're talking southern Nevada, about 83 miles northwest of Las Vegas.
Wait, seriously? So close to Vegas, that's kind of wild.
Right, and it's practically a stone's throw from that stretch of highway everyone calls the extraterrestrial highway.
No way! So people driving down that kitschy, alien-themed highway, they're probably closer to Area 51 than they realize?
Exactly, and we're not talking about some tiny little hidden facility either. Originally, the base was 6 miles by 10 miles.
That's already pretty massive.
Oh, but it gets bigger. Now, it's part of this much larger restricted airspace called the Groom Box.
Groom box! Sounds ominous.
It covers a whopping 23 miles by 25 miles.
Wow. That's huge.
Right. And it's all centered around Green Lake itself, which is essentially this giant dried-up lake bed.
Perfect set.
Runways, of course, long, flat surfaces, ideal for testing experimental aircraft. And the surrounding mountains act like a natural barrier.
Keeping everything hidden from prying eyes. Okay, that makes sense from a strategic standpoint, but honestly, I'm still stuck on the name Area 51. Like, where did that even come from?
It's a good question, and there's no definitive answer. One theory is it comes from an old Atomic Energy Commission numbering grid. But geographically, that doesn't quite line up.
Interesting.
So maybe they just picked a random number that sounded cool and mysterious.
I mean, it definitely works on the mysterious front.
Right. And then you've got those nicknames they used, like Dreamland and Paradise Ranch.
Paradise Ranch, seriously.
Apparently, they use those names to attract workers without giving away the true nature of the facility.
Oh, the irony. Not exactly the image that comes to mind when you think top secret military base. But hey, whatever works, right? But okay, enough about names and locations. Let's get into the real meat of it. The history of Area 51. What went down at this place?
Well, to really understand Area 51, you got to go back to the Cold War. We're talking 1955, height of tensions with the Soviets.
Okay, setting the stage, I like it. Go on.
The CIA picks Groom Lake for this top-secret project, developing the U-2 spy plane.
Ah, the U-2, that legendary Cold War spy plane that could fly at, like, crazy high altitude.
Exactly, and at the time, the Soviets had this massive air defense system. Sending a plane over there was extremely risky.
So they needed somewhere remote, secure.
And with perfect flying conditions. That's where Groom Lake comes in. It was like a giant hidden testing ground, tailor-made for Cold War intrigue.
Oh man, I bet Kelly Johnson was thrilled.
Oh yeah, he was the lead engineer at Lockheed who designed the U-2. He described Groom Lake as another Edwards Air Force base in the making. Apparently they flew over it, and within seconds they knew. It was perfect.
Just like that.
Natural landing field on the salt flat, surrounded by mountains. Total seclusion.
But wait, here's what I don't get. The CIA is trying to keep the U-2 top secret.
Of course.
But these test flights, they were happening at high altitude, often at dawn or dusk. People must have seen something.
Oh, they definitely saw something. And they couldn't explain it. That's where a lot of those early UFO sightings come from.
You're kidding? So the CIA's super secret spy plane designed to spy on the Soviets
ends up accidentally fueling the whole UFO craze. It's like the ultimate irony.
It really is. But that was just the beginning, right? Area 51 story doesn't end with the U-2.
Oh, not even close. In 1959, things get even more secretive. They launch Project Oxcart.
Oxcart, what's that all about?
That's the program to develop the A-12 spy plane. You know, the precursor to the SR-71 Blackbird.
Oh, wow. The SR-71? That sleek, black, supersonic spy plane? The one that looks like it flew straight out of a sci-fi movie that was developed at Area 51.
Yep, and to accommodate the A-12, they had to upgrade the whole base. They built a longer runway, 10,000 feet. They had to install huge fuel tanks to hold that special JP-7 fuel the A-12 needed. And security. They ramped it up big time.
So that classic image we all have in our heads, those long runways, the heavily guarded perimeter, that all comes from this era.
Pretty much. The A-12 and later the SR-71, they cemented Area 51's image as this place where the impossible was being tested.
Where the government was hiding its most cutting-edge technology.
Exactly.
But wait, there's more to this story, isn't there? It's not just spy planes.
You're right. There's another aspect of Area 51's history that often gets overshadowed.
What's that?
Drones.
Drones back then.
Yeah. Specifically, there was this project called the D-21 Tag Board, and this one has a really interesting twist.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So the D-21, this was a drone designed for high-speed reconnaissance missions. Initially, they wanted to launch it from a modified A-12.
A drone launched from another aircraft that's already flying at supersonic speeds.
Yep.
Pretty wild, huh?
That's ambitious, even by today's standards. What happened?
Well, in 1966, there was a tragic accident. A D-21 collided with its M-21 launch aircraft during a test flight. One person was killed.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, it was a major setback. After that, they switched to launching the D-21s from B-52 bombers.
Okay, but still, testing, development, all those early drone missions, they all originated from Area 51.
Oh, absolutely. And here's where the twist comes in. These drones, they were kept classified for years, even after they retired them in 1971.
Seriously?
They ended up storing them at Davis Monthan Air Force Base in Arizona.
Which is
An open base.
So these top secret drones developed at Area 51 end up just sitting out in the open at a regular base.
Yep. People started seeing these weird, unexplained drones, photos leaked out, and speculation ran wild. It took years before the truth came out. It's like something straight out of a spy novel. Okay, so we've got U-2s, A-12, secret drones. What else was cooking at Area 51? Didn't our sources mention something about foreign technology evaluation?
Ah, yes. This is one of the most fascinating parts of the story, and it doesn't get talked about nearly enough.
What was it? Like, were they stealing tech from other countries?
Not exactly stealing, more like borrowing. During the Cold War, the U.S. would acquire captured enemy aircraft, mostly Soviet-made, and bring them to Area 51.
Why? To study them.
Yes. They wanted to test them against their own jets, see how they stacked up. It was all about understanding the enemy's capabilities.
So, like, American pilots secretly flying captured MiG fighter jets? That's straight out of a movie.
One of the most famous cases involved a MiG-21. An Iraqi pilot defected to Israel with it, and the U.S. got to borrow it for testing.
No way. What did they find out? Were the MiGs better than our planes?
What they learned was that, on paper, the performance was pretty close. But pilot skill, that made a huge difference.
The human element, huh?
Always. These tests helped the U.S. understand the MiG's strengths and weaknesses. It led to better training for our pilots.
Smart.
And later on, they acquired MiG-17s and used those to train Top Gun instructors.
Whoa! Learning to fight MiGs from actual MiG pilots, that's intense.
And it wasn't just aircraft. They had a program called HAVG Lab, where they tested captured Soviet radar systems. They even set up a mock air defense complex at Area 51 using captured equipment to simulate what our pilots might face in a real conflict. It's like something out of a spy thriller.
They were really going all out to understand the Soviets, weren't they?
Absolutely. It was a whole different level of intelligence gathering and technological development, and all of it shrouded in secrecy at Area 51.
Makes sense. I mean, with all that going on, plus the occasional glimpse of some unexplained aircraft, it's no wonder the rumors started flying.
Oh yeah, the secrecy just breeds speculations, like a perfect storm for conspiracy theories.
Oh, hold on, we're forgetting one major piece of the Area 51 puzzle.
What's that?
Stealth technology.
Ah, yes, stealth. The ability to make aircraft practically invisible to radar.
And that all begins at Area 51, right?
It does. In 1977, they kicked off the HAVB Low-Lee program, which was the precursor to the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter.
The F-117, man, that thing was like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Those angles, the radar-absorbing materials, futuristic?
It was revolutionary. And it all started at Groom Lake. They tested the prototypes, refined the stealth tech, even trained the first F-117 pilots there.
All under a veil of secrecy, of course.
Naturally.
Which, knowing what we know now about Area 51, just adds to the mystique, right? This image of them developing the future of warfare hidden from the world.
Exactly. And even when they eventually moved the F-117 to the Tonopah Test Range, its origins were still tied to Area 51.
Okay, but it's not just the technology itself that's interesting, right? It's the government's efforts to keep it all secret, even when it came to those lawsuits filed by the civilian contractors.
Yes, the lawsuits.
I mean, those cases, they raised some serious questions about what the government was willing to do to protect information about Area 51.
You're talking about the group of civilian contractors who claimed they got sick from exposure to chemicals at Area 51.
Yeah, and they were seeking compensation, information.
And the government's response.
State secrets privilege.
Classic. Essentially saying that revealing any information about Area 51 could put national security at risk.
Really? They went that far?
They did. And then President Clinton even issued a presidential exemption.
An exemption? For what?
Shielding Area 51 from certain environmental laws. Not exactly something you do lightly.
It's not. It makes you wonder what they were so desperate to hide.
Doesn't it? I mean, if it was just about testing experimental aircraft, even top secret ones, why go to those lengths?
Right. Why the extreme secrecy? There has to be more to the story.
There's always more to the story when it comes to Area 51. It really is amazing, isn't it? How Area 51 has become this, symbol of government secrecy. It just taps into this idea that, they are hiding something big from us.
Yeah, there's definitely that distrust of authority, like a feeling that there are these powerful forces at play that we're not supposed to know about.
Right. And with Area 51, it's like, how do you even begin to separate fact from fiction when the government is being so tight-lipped about everything?
It's like trying to solve a puzzle where half the pieces are missing. On one hand, we know they were testing advanced aircraft there, but then there's this nagging feeling that maybe there's more to it.
And that's where the speculation comes in. The rumors, the conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah, some of those theories get pretty wild. We're talking about alien autopsies, crashed UFOs, reverse-engineered alien tech.
It's like this blend of science fiction and Cold War paranoia, all focused on this one place.
But it's fascinating, isn't it? Why are we so drawn to this stuff?
I think it's just human nature. We're curious, we love a good mystery, and when you combine that with a healthy dose of secrecy and a few unexplained events.
It's a recipe for endless speculation. And Area 51. It's got all the right ingredients.
For sure. Speaking of ingredients, let's talk about some of the specific stories and figures that have really shaped the Area 51 narrative.
Oh yeah, like the ones that have really captured the public imagination. What comes to mind?
Well, there's the Bob Lazar story. He came forward in 1989, claiming he'd worked at this secret facility near Area 51 called S4.
Oh yeah, Bob Lazar, the physicist who said he saw actual alien spacecraft, and that he worked on reverse engineering their technology. That was a bombshell.
He claimed he was hired to analyze the propulsion system of these alleged alien craft. He even described them in detail. And he talked about this like mysterious Element 115.
Element 115, wait, was that purely theoretical back then?
It was. But here's the thing. Element 115, also known as moscovium, was actually synthesized in a lab years later.
Get out of here, so it actually exists.
It does. Now, obviously, that doesn't prove Lazar's claims about alien spacecraft, but it does add a layer of intrigue to the whole story.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, what if there's more to it than we know?
Right. And then, of course, there's the infamous alien autopsy film.
Oh yeah, that grainy black and white footage that supposedly showed government scientists dissecting an alien being.
Yep, that one. Surfaced in 1995.
Yeah.
And went viral, basically. Everyone was talking about it.
It was a huge deal. I remember thinking, is this thing real or what?
It was eventually debunked as a hoax, but not before it really cemented the idea that the government might be hiding evidence of alien life. And that maybe, just maybe, it was all happening at Area 51.
It's crazy how these stories, even the ones that turn out to be fake, can have such a lasting impact.
Especially when you consider the government's own role in all of this. They've been so secretive about Area 51 for so long, it just fuels the speculation.
It's like the more they try to hide something, the more people are convinced there's something to hide.
Exactly. Yeah, and then you have events like the Phoenix Lights in 1997. Thousands of people saw this strange formation of lights in the sky over Arizona.
Wait, the Phoenix Lights, I remember that. It was like a real-life X-Files episode.
Right. There are all these different explanations floating around. Secret military aircraft, weather balloons, UFOs.
Did they ever figure out what it was?
Nope. it remains largely unexplained to this day, which of course just adds to the mystery surrounding Area 51.
Because if it wasn't aliens, then what was it, right?
Right. It's like, if even these seemingly explainable events can't be fully explained, what else is out there? What else are they hiding?
Okay, so even if we put aside the alien theories for a second, there's still the question of why the government is so secretive about Area 51.
I mean, we know they tested cutting-edge aircraft there, but is that the whole story?
Right. What else could they be hiding that's so sensitive, so far ahead of its time, that they feel the need to keep it under wraps for decades?
It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We've talked about the U-2, the A-12, the F-117, all revolutionary aircraft. But they were all eventually declassified.
So what's next? What's the next level that we haven't even heard of yet?
Who knows? Maybe it's technology that's so advanced it sounds like science fiction.
Like black budget programs, stuff we can't even imagine yet.
Maybe. But the truth is, we may never know the full extent of what's happened or what's currently happening at Area 51. The government has been very good at keeping their secrets.
And that secrecy just makes the whole thing more intriguing, doesn't it?
Of course. It's like a reminder that even in this age of information, there are still places where secrets are kept, where the line between reality and speculation gets blurry.
Okay, so we've talked about the history, the conspiracy theories, the cultural impact of Area 51, but let's circle back to those lawsuits filed by the civilian contractors.
You think there's something there?
Maybe. I mean, those cases really highlighted the government's willingness to go to extremes to protect information about Area 51. Remember that whole state secrets privilege thing?
Oh yeah, and how they used it to block the release of info about those potential environmental hazards.
Yeah.
Definitely seemed like an overreaction if it was just about testing planes, even top secret ones.
Exactly. And then President Clinton issuing that presidential exemption, shielding Area 51 from certain environmental laws. That's a big deal.
It is. It makes you wonder what was so sensitive that it warranted that level of protection.
I mean, are we really supposed to believe that testing experimental aircraft, even groundbreaking ones, requires that level of secrecy? It doesn't quite add up.
It does make you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What else could they be hiding at Area 51? What if it's something so significant, so potentially world-changing, they feel like they have no choice but to keep it secret?
So we've gone from, are there aliens at Area 51, to what is the government capable of, and are they acting in our best interest? That's a whole other can of worms.
It is. And it's all part of what makes Area 51 such a fascinating topic. It forces us to confront the unknown, to grapple with the implications of advanced technology, and to question the balance of power in the world.
I'm all for questioning authority, but I gotta admit, you've got me hooked now. If it's not just alien tech, what other explanations are there for this level of secrecy?
Well, there are a few possibilities that come to mind, some pretty fascinating ones, actually.
Okay, so we've gone from aliens and UFOs to, like, shadowy government programs and the potential for some serially advanced tech being developed in secret. It's wild.
It really is.
It's like Area 51 has become this mirror reflecting all our fears and anxieties about, like, what's really going on in the world, you know?
It definitely taps into something deeper, that's for sure.
But let's get back to those technologies, the ones that could be so groundbreaking that they require this insane level of secrecy. Did our sources offer any clues? Like, what could they be working on?
Well, they didn't give us a list or anything, but we can make some educated guesses, right?
Yeah. Based on what we know about Area 51's history and what's happening right now in military and scientific research.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. This is a place that has consistently pushed the boundaries of what's possible.
From those early spy planes to stealth tech, they've always been ahead of the curve. So what's next? What's the next big thing they could be hiding?
Well, one area that's been the subject of a lot of speculation is hypersonic aircraft. We're talking about planes that can fly at speeds exceeding Mach 5.
Hold on, Mach 5, that's like 5 times the speed of sound.
That's right.
So like New York to London in under an hour. That's the kind of speed we're talking about.
It's not science fiction anymore. It's something that a lot of countries, including the US, are actively working on. And the potential applications are huge, both for the military and commercially.
Okay, so I get why it's a big deal, but why all the secrecy? If they're developing this hypersonic tech, why not just announce it to the world? Brag a little.
Well, think about the strategic implications, especially to the military. Imagine being able to strike anywhere in the world within hours.
Yeah, that would definitely change the game.
Right. And with hypersonic speeds, you could potentially overcome even the most advanced air defense systems.
So it's a massive tactical advantage. They wouldn't want their enemies to know what they're capable of.
Exactly. And then there's the whole area of directed energy weapons.
Directed energy weapons, like lasers?
Lasers, high-powered microwave beams, that kind of thing.
Okay, now we're talking Star Wars stuff.
It might sound like science fiction, but these weapons have been in development for decades, and there have been reports of successful tests.
So it's not just a theoretical thing anymore.
Nope. The appeal is obvious. Pinpoint accuracy, minimal collateral damage, the ability to instantly neutralize a target.
Okay, but why the secrecy then? Wouldn't the development of weapons like that be, public knowledge?
Think about it. Imagine a country that can neutralize any threat anywhere in the world instantly. That's a huge deal. It could destabilize entire regions, spark a whole new arms race.
So it's about maintaining a strategic edge. Keep everyone guessing about what you're really capable of.
Exactly. It's the ultimate deterrent. And then, let's not forget about cyber warfare.
Ah, yes. Cyber warfare. It's a whole other battleground these days.
In today's world, disrupting or disabling an enemy's computer systems can be just as effective as any physical weapon, maybe even more so.
So if they're developing cutting-edge cyber warfare tools and techniques at Area 51, yeah, I can see why they'd want to keep that quiet.
The key to cyber warfare is staying ahead of the curve. If you reveal your capabilities, your enemies can develop countermeasures.
It's like a high-stakes chess match, but in the digital realm.
Exactly. And then there's the whole world of artificial intelligence.
AI. Oh, yeah. AI is a game changer for sure, but it also raises a lot of ethical questions.
Absolutely. The implications of machines making life or death decisions. That's something we need to think carefully about.
For sure. But from a purely military standpoint, the potential of AI is, it's enormous.
Right, think about it. Autonomous weapon systems, advanced surveillance, and data analysis. The possibilities are endless.
And a little terrifying, to be honest.
It is a double-edged sword, that's for sure. But it's hard to deny the strategic advantages that AI could bring to the military.
So if Area 51 is at the forefront of AI research, especially for military applications, that would definitely explain the secrecy.
It would. They're not going to share their progress in such a strategically important field. Not with anyone.
It's like we've gone from science fiction to a potential future that's both exciting and kind of scary all at the same time.
That's the thing about Area 51. It forces us to confront these big questions about the unknown, about the power of technology, and about what the future holds.
After this whole deep dive, I'm starting to think that the real question isn't, are there aliens at Area 51? It's, what are the implications of what they're hiding?
That's a really good point. Whether it's world-altering technology, the ethics of AI, or just the government's commitment to secrecy, the implications of what's happening at Area 51 reach far beyond the boundaries of that base in the desert.
It's like we've been given a glimpse behind the curtain, but we're still left with more questions than answers. And that's what makes this whole topic so fascinating.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that there are still mysteries in this world that defy easy explanation, and that the pursuit of knowledge, especially when it comes to science and technology, is a journey with both incredible promise and potential risks.
Well said. I feel like we've uncovered a lot today. Area 51, it's not just a place, it's an idea, a symbol of our fascination with the unknown, and a reminder that there are still secrets out there waiting to be uncovered.
And who knows what the future holds? Maybe one day they'll declassify some of those secrets. But until then, it'll remain this source of speculation, fueling our imaginations, and reminding us that there's still so much we don't know.
It's been a wild ride exploring this with you. Thanks for guiding us through the maze of Area 51.
My pleasure. And to everyone listening, remember, the next time you look up at the night sky and see a strange light, don't just assume it's a satellite or a plane. Keep an open mind, embrace the mystery. You never know what you might find.
That's right. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Area 51. Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep searching for the truth wherever it may lead.